Well, hello, and thank you for tuning in, and welcome to this channel if this is your first time. Here we post information about customs, global trade, importing, exporting with the EU or with the United Kingdom. So if this is your first time, I hope you enjoy. And of course, if you like this channel, then please subscribe and click the like button, because we always like to hear from you and like to post some more. So today we're going to talk about the changes that will come into force on 2022 in the UK, and that affects particularly EU businesses. But UK businesses dealing with the EU should also be aware. So if you're ready to join us, ready to learn all about this and discuss with us, then come on the ride. Let's go. And now I've moved to the top right corner so you can see the screen and the slides. And if you're interested in the slides, then you can download them, of course, too. So this is the webinar that we have just literally minutes ago finished live, delivering to a rather large audience. And of course, we had a lot of questions, and these are not questions that we're going to publish on YouTube. So these are in the live moment, the questions that the people have. But we thought, why not record this after the event so that you, who weren't unfortunately able to join us, can be there as well. So with that said, welcome. So Brexit 2022, isn't that a bit strange? Because Brexit has already happened. At least that's, obvious. So why Brexit 2022 again? Well, because there are big customs changes coming up in the UK, and every business has to be ready. But before we go into this, just know, of course, that we in this webinar provide general guidance. We do not give legal advice, and know that the application of the laws and the impact of laws can vary greatly. And you need to consider the specific facts of your company and your situation. So all we do here is we provide general information. So please bear that in mind and diversify your sources. And if you're interested in who we are and you wonder, well, who are these guys? Never heard of them. Well, we are a specialized provider of customs and global trade solutions for exporting and importing businesses and their partners. And we offer a one-stop shop approach, allowing our clients to reach their global customers faster, cut red tape and paperwork, de-risk the business, and of course, stay compliant. And that allows you to grow faster globally. And we do this with this one-stop shop proposition. So with us, you can get first class, I'd say, consultancy. So bespoke advice to your business and your situation. Of course, there is a wide range of live, on-demand and in-house training that is multilingual. So that's in German, French, Spanish, and English. So you can have your entire teams trained up. We also offer filing opportunities. And we are a customs agent, and we offer a VIP helpline, an expert blog, and that also comes with law monitoring. And this is how this looks like in practice. When you work with us, you will get a dedicated customs manager. And if you are subscribed to our expert blog and VIP hotline or premium support services, then you can access this 365 days a week. It's 27 hours, 7 days a week. There's someone ready to support you when the going gets tough or you have a question. And then, of course, the expert blog is always available. And that is really in a subscription model, which allows this to split the costs over a monthly period. And that is really cool because the starter package starts at £1 a day. So affordable not only for small SMEs, but also for any individual that hopes to be upskilled, that wants to learn in a bite-sized way. And if you're interested in studying, for example, over the holiday period, then you can do that also, or well, maybe not the holiday period, but maybe at your pace, at your time, when you are ready. So if you want to do that, then we recommend online learning courses, and we offer quite a large library of them. They're self-paced. You can study when you want, where you want, and from what device. You have a live online tutor ready for you, and you get a nice certificate of completion to showcase your achievements. As I've said, we're also a customs broker. We're a specialist in filing customs declaration for EU and UK businesses. And that means we leverage a leading electronic customs filing software directly connected to HM Revenue and Customs in the UK. And we can file customs declaration for our customers, comply with all the rules and regulations. And that goes for imports, for exports, for transit, for Northern Ireland, delayed declarations, special shipments. And we even help you if you need to reclaim or make amendment on customs entries. And if you need mass classification support, of course, we're there for you as well. Now, I'm excited about this because, as you will see later in the webinar, we'll talk about the changes to the UK Customs e-customs system. And here we have a new customs system that's called CDS, or Customs Declaration Service, and that is a little complex. So we offer a 2-part training course on 2 afternoons where you can learn about this new way of filing customs declarations. Either you can do it with us or you can do it yourself. Regardless, it's very, very good to have an overview of how this works. And we are ready to deliver this to you over 2 days. So check it out. And with everything in this presentation, if you download the presentation, you will also see the link down below. And then you can click on that and you can find out more. And if you're interested in the new dates, so the next dates are indicated here, and also you can have a bit of a look at the agenda that we propose. Hey, I should also mention that we have just joined the Society of Independent International Trade and Customs Experts, and that is a great association that brings like-minded people together. So if you're a customs professional or if you're in global trade and you want to join us to have a chat, a professional chat about customs matters, global trade matters, and also to give governments a little bit of a steer and another opinion, an educated opinion on where we're going with global trade, then SITTACE is certainly the way to go. Hey, and if you're wondering who's talking to you, well, here is my quick bio. I've been in customs and global trade for 15 years now, and it's as exciting as ever. So I'm excited. So what are we talking about today? Well, look, here's the agenda that I propose. We got to talk about the changes that are coming up in 2022 that businesses really need to know about. So what do I mean? Well, there are 7 that I would call out. First, full customs declarations. 2, end of delayed declarations. 3, GVMS and GMR. 4, transition to CDS. 5, upcoming import controls of 2022. And here I refer, of course, to IPAFFS, EHC, PEACH, and the likes. Yeah, we do like our abbreviations, don't we? Yeah. So if you can tell me what IPAFFS, EHCs, and PEACH stands for, you must be a customs geek. We're going to talk about supplier declaration. That's a big deal. And of course, the update to the UK trade tariff and WCO HS 2022. So that's all about tariff classification and the likes. And then we're going to have a final look at a few fundamental issues here. So what is a full customs declaration and how should businesses prepare for these? How shall I lodge a customs declaration? And if I do it myself, how do I do it? What are the benefits? What are the disadvantages? Or shall I hire a customs agent to do it? That's also an option. Then we'll look at indirect versus direct agents, their roles and responsibilities. We draw some lessons from 2021. Now that we've seen all the upheaval in customs in this year, well, what really can we conclude from that? And then, of course, what businesses can do. A bit of an outlook, a few suggestions. Hey, and I'd be loving to get your feedback. So if you want to leave a comment in the description or in the link below, or you want to click subscribe, or you want to like it, I really appreciate it. It would help us out for sure. So with that said, let's get right into it. So delaying customs declaration is the first topic of the day. And you may know this, there is what's known as a border model, an operating border operating model, that way around. And that's a document from the UK government, and it's quite extensive, over 150 pages, and it tells us exactly how we're going to import and export into the UK or from the UK. GB, Great Britain, that is. And one of the special easements to slowly introduce the changes in customs is, of course, the delayed customs declaration model, whereby we're able to delay the lodgement of a customs declaration for standards good by up to 175 days. In other words, goods can come into the UK, there's no customs entry made, there's an EORI number that travels with them, and that is it. Now that's only for standard goods, so not controlled goods, so nothing that would require a license, for example, or excise goods. But for the the everyday T-shirt or the electronics items, that is what we're talking about here. And this temporary easement meant that many businesses had a lot of time to prepare customs declarations for the first time. However, it was really quickly felt that submitting delayed declaration is also quite tedious, requires special approval, and is not as straightforward as people thought. Regardless of that, this now comes to an end, and the last time this can be applied is the 31st of December 2021. From this moment on, we count forward 175 days, and we get to end of June. So by end of June, this period must come to an end and all supplementary declaration must have been lodged. Whether that's going to work, I am not so sure. Anyway, if you want to read more about delayed customs declaration, there is a link below, and I really encourage you to have a good read of it. Up next is full customs declaration. So this is the normal state of being. This is what the EU already introduced in the 1st of January 2021, and this is now followed suit by the UK on the 1st of January 2022. And that means a new customs declaration needs to be lodged with every import. And there are two ways this can be done. For inventory port and linked ports with lots of space, the temporary storage model is the one that's most often used. In this, this is the standard way of operating in the EU. Goods can arrive or that arrived are deemed to be in temporary storage until a customs declaration is lodged. So this can be done for up to 90 days after import. To release these goods, then the customs declaration reference number, we know it as DUCR, for example, needs to be then entered into the port inventory system to locate the goods and then to discharge the imports. And that also makes the duties and taxes payable available. Traders can use duty deferment accounts and postpone VAT accounting to defer payment of taxes and VAT. The next part we're going to talk about is GVMS and GMR. Now, I'm going to briefly talk about this and the concept of it. If you want to know more about this, we do have a training. It's an online training where I basically walk you through the entire GVMS system and how it works. And then you get to learn with me how it actually works. We're actually going to log into the system and get a GMR. Isn't that exciting? What? Sorry, what? You don't know what a GMR is? That's cool. Sorry, I went too fast. Let's go back a step. So as I told you that there are two methods in which you can clear from 2022, EU to GB trade. The first one was the temporary storage model I just mentioned. The second one is the pre-clearance method. And this is where the customs declaration needs to be lodged prior to arrival in the EU port. And this system is currently in use for GBNI trade already, and this will be extended to other parts that chose this method, for example, Dover. And usually these are locations with little space, so storing goods is usually not an option. If you want to check out who these ports are, I encourage you to click on this link, because this is where you can then see what these ports are. And then for the question, for the customs declaration reference numbers that you then generate, so the DUCR or the MRNs, right, the movement reference numbers. So for these you need to then group them together and place all of these into the GVMS system. So the GVMS system operates by bringing together all of these MRNs plus the vehicle registration number, and that way you generate then one number that tells HMRC what's in your truck, how many customs declarations are actually in your truck. If you want to know how to register with GVMS, the link's below. If you want a multinational leaflet from Polish to Turkish to Romanian to German, French, and Spanish, also you can see that here and click and have it. So how does it work? Well, registration is required. usually by the business making the customs declaration, and the haulier might need to do that as well. Customs reference numbers are entered into GVMS, and they are pulled together to a single reference number and linked to a number plate of the truck. And that is the goods movement reference number, the GMR. And again, we've underlinked what that actually then means. The GMR must also be available to the driver before the goods move onto the means of transport, and may have to be presented to the ferry company, for example. And during the crossing, the goods, the customs declaration and info is then risk assessed by HMRC, and a decision is made if they want to inspect or not these goods. If you need to be seen, or if the driver has to have his goods inspected, then you need to attend to what's known as the inland border facilities. And again, links there below, and what you need to do when you attend a border inland facility, also linked here below. Now, as you know, what it all means, well, it means there needs to be a customs declaration that needs to be lodged. It is really the most important document you need in international trade, where there is a physical customs border. And there are at least 54 boxes there are 54 plus boxes in the standard single administrative document, the C88, and they're not all going to need to be completed, but some do. And depending on what you're doing, one box may have to be completed, the other one might be optional. So it's quite a mess. You really gotta learn how to deal with those. And the essential elements that you need to have correct in any case is question of who's the consignee, who's the consignor, who's the declarant. And that's not as straightforward as you might think, especially where Incoterms come into play. I won't dwell on that, but we could spend hours talking just about that point. The customs commodity code is really important as well. The customs procedure code, the customs value, the origin, the ORIN numbers, the VAT numbers, the deferment account numbers, if you want to use postponed VAT counting or not. If all of that sounds a little strange to you, well, first of all, there is training on the Customs Manager website on all of these subjects. Second of all, there are information hubs that talk you through how importing works, how exporting works, what a commodity code is, how you classify, what's a customs value, how you determine the rules of origin. All of that, there are information hubs on customsmanager.org that you can access to help you study that. Subscription is required, but as I said, it starts at £1 a day. So it really is a no-brainer. That's what you need to do, so sure. Another tool that I can give you, a tip I can give you, is to purchase MSS data. MSS data is the data that is held by the customs authorities in the UK on you, on the business. And it tells you who imported what, when, at what rate, under what codes, everything you need to know. So do get that. And if you want to know what that is and how to get it, well, we can get it for you. And also just hit us up, we'll tell you more about it. Get it wrong and you're going to have a problem. Incorrect customs declaration can lead to customs compliance challenges by HMRC. There is under or overpayment of duties and taxes, there are fines, and there's of course removal of export or import privileges. So it is essential to get the right strategy for customs declaration for 2022 in place. So first, work out which ports am I going through? Second of all, what about the customs declaration? How am I going to get all this information into HMRC system, and who will do it? Okay, so you have two options here. Either you do it in-house, then you need to know all of this in detail, or you use an agent. And we offer obviously the agent route, but we also train you if you want in-house. Whatever you want, we can support you on it. I have recorded a previous video with my good friend Paul, where we discuss the pros and the cons of self-filing. So the link is below and you can check it out again. But in a nutshell, if you want to do it yourself, you need equipment, well, virtual equipment. You need a badge, what's known as a CDS or a chief badge. You need electronic software to make the declarations. All of that comes at the costs and the time and education that needs to happen. You need therefore training on how to lodge a customs declaration in chief, or if you're already using the CDS system, then it's the CDS, and this is not the same. And of course, you need enough staff to make the customs declaration. This is an extra additional task. You need to find time in your staff's agenda, diary, to actually lodge these. How many customs declaration will you be expecting to make? How many people do you need to do this? If you do it through an agent, you got to be careful, because not all agents are the same. Some agents know more than others, and that matters, right? If you're going through an agent, here are the top tips. You need to provide a written authorization, please. So often I have seen agents just clear goods on your behalf without you having authorized them, you being the importing business or the exporting business for that matter, in the first place. Please provide written instructions on the things we talked about: commodity code, origin, offer clear instructions, right? Do this, do that, Decide on whether it is indirect or direct representation. In most cases, it will be direct representation. And if you're unclear about the differences, there is an extensive series that we have run on the expert blog. And also there is a course, an on-demand trading course called Issuing Effective Broker Instructions. And you can find that on the library of customsmanager.org. You can purchase that and then see me explain with examples what good instructions looks like. My top tip is to get a copy of the C88 SAD every time there's an import. Otherwise, how will you audit the accuracy of that? Yeah. KPIs, key performance indicators, SOP, standard operating procedures, is something that we need to create in order to ensure that the instructions that you issue are being followed. And if there is a delay, or if the standards are not met, you can then benchmark that. Another top tip is, when you work with agents, is not to let the customs agent use your AORI number without permission. That you've got to be really strict on this, because the chief system, and this CDS system maybe too, is set up in a way that allows you to just put in any AORI number. And out of the sudden, a lot of damage has been done, and the AORI number has been misused. So watch out for creative customs agents. Yeah. So this is what you can do. As I said, there's a 5-part series, direct versus indirect customs agent, and there is an online study, effective broker management. And if you need an agent, we are there for you. Now, I've spoken a lot about customs systems, so let me just zoom in on that for a moment. There's a big change in 2022 coming up. Chief is the old e-customs system, the customs handling of import and exporting freight, and it's going to be replaced by the customs declaration service from 2022, starting with the import, then with the export. So here we talk about the upcoming import controls of 2022. That's another change that is quite significant. So this is all about IPAFFS, EHCs, PEATs, etc. So IPAFFS is the import of products of animal food and feed system that replaces the EU traces system. And you can use IPAFFS to notify the enforcement authorities about the imports of such live animals and animal products, and then high-risk foods and feeds of non-animal origin into Great Britain, so pistachios and certain nuts and the likes of it. And if you want to read more about IPAFFS, I encourage you to click on the link below. There is tons of information in this expert blog. And then later, so that happens on the 1st of January, got to notify the authorities. And then later in the year, there are export health certificates, the EHCs, that need to be completed and then updated into IPAFFS, uploaded and updated into IPAFFS as well. And this is really a challenge for many EU traders and needs careful planning. Please note that we do offer an IPAFFS pre-notification and EHC filing service, and that is for the food importers. And what that does, it allows you to focus on your business and selling, and we will use our expertise and our staff to pre-notify DEFRA of this feed, food, and high risk and plant products. And if you want to get started on this, just get in touch with us. We'll help you through it. And of course, there is extensive SPS training, so that happens live, but it's also recorded on how you're going to get food into the EU or the UK that you can check out to get you upskilled and ready for these food and feed controls. Up next is the suppliers declaration. So that's yet another change. Now, you do know that there are rules of origin that need to be met if you want to benefit from preferential trade under the EU-UK TCA rules. Do you know that rules of origin is like the economic nationality of a product? And the terms are determined in the EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the TCA. And if you are familiar with rules of origin, you know that there are two ways under the EU-UK TCA that EU products can originate, and that is either a statement on origin or importer's knowledge. And where it is statement on origin, it was permissible in the past not to have suppliers declaration on hand for your shipments throughout 2021. So you could issue a statement on origin without being able to back it up by a supplier declaration, if you did know that these goods were actually originating. But from 2022, the normal rules apply. So these new suppliers declaration must now be available for any new statement on origin. And also please note, and many trip up on that, that you need to have these supplier declarations for the previous year as well. So for 2021, for everything that you brought in under a statement on origin. So customs can say, hey, from January 2021, you brought this in under preference, show me the statement on origin. Now, if that went totally over your head, that's all right, no problem. Please join our rules of origin training, live training under the EU-UK TCA. There's an information hub on all things rules of origin. And of course, there's an expert blog on rules of origin as well. It tells you everything you need to know with lots of videos and just amazing to get you started. And really the final point here is the update on the UK tariff and the WCO HS 2022. The UK trade tariff needs to be updated in 2022. There are significant WCO HS 2022 changes, and that is the tariff for the world, really, for 190 plus nations. They use this, and if that one gets updated, then the UK one gets updated too. And we therefore need to be aware that in 2021, a code that we've used might not be available anymore in 2022, and that might lead to clearance issues and challenges that you might want to look into. So strategically, you need to think about how are you going to do this, so that on 1/20/2022, your goods have the correct codes as they come into the UK. Here is a link that you can check out to learn more about the WCO changes. There is live and on-demand customs declaration, customs classification training, a classification hub, of course, which teaches you all about how we classify, step-by-step approach. And then, of course, there is, and that's a really cool feature, in our expert blog, we actually post classification challenges. So there's a dedicated section on classification, and you can go there and you can have a week, a classification of a product. So we explain this is the product, go away and classify. And then next week, you'd have the solution. So you can compare and you can practice as you go along. And I think that's pretty cool. So there you have it, 7 things that change in 2022 as regards the trade with the UK. They're quite significant changes that you really need to know about. So here are my final words. It's all the lessons really from 2021 are the following. We've seen that many people thought they were prepared, and I've heard this a lot. I thought we did everything, we were ready, but it didn't work. There was delay. Nothing got to us in time, or we weren't able to ship this out. And as a result, we stopped completely. That's really damaging, and it shouldn't really happen. So I guess the message is, let's just look at this again. Let's just analyze how your supply chain operates, how it operated in the past and how it operates now, and if this is optimized for global trade. And it might just be minor tweaks, or there might be a complete reconstruction of the supply chain that would work much better in a post-Brexit world. The customs border, unfortunately, made it really, really difficult to get goods in and out. And when before you could just board a truck and just go from Manchester to Paris like that. So an order gets made, truck driver goes. Now it is a little bit more complicated. And the reason why that is because we have this customs border, and it requires clarity as to who has to do what, who's responsible for what action, who has what costs, and who has what risk. And that means there are more costs: customs declaration, stop at the border, the likes of it, demurrage charge, port fees, whatnot. And there is risk if something goes wrong. So all of that means the conversation needs to be had prior to these goods actually being shipped. So you need to speak more, you need to agree more prior, and you need to do a right international invoice that is not the normal invoice that you have for everyday business in the EU. It needs to have more information. And that goes hand in hand with saying, learn, study customs, become a customs geek, hire a customs geek. Gee, you need to know what the commodity code, the origin, and all of that is. You need to know what importing is, what exporting is. That's really essential if you want a successful and free-flowing business in 2022. All right, I think we've talked enough, and I think you're all you've heard enough for you to go away, research, ponder, and maybe if you want, get in touch. Hey, if you like this video and you want more of them, then please just give a like, subscribe, and we will make sure that more is provided. Thank you very much for your attention. And again, I hope you have a great start into 2022. And if you're watching this in 2022, I hope this is the year. All right, I've said enough. Arnie out. Talk to you next time. Thanks, guys.